Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what another day in the market. Green, green, green again. What a Tesla. I think it's 14 days and counting that it was green. Of course, CPI comes out. Numbers come in below. We're going to go ahead and get into that right there. Of course, really it's more about core, but what I talked to you about yesterday is the market going to pay attention more to the headline or core CPI, right? And so, of course, it's headline, but I don't think it really had a lot to do with CPI. Let's be real about it. As long as it didn't come in over what they projected, the narrative is it's still slowing down, which it is, right? We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to show you what I've been talking about for the last week or two. When I say there's this trend taking place of big money and hedge funds are doing certain things, well, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. And then another alternative, a group of stocks that might come back in favor again. So we'll see how that affects other stocks that are way up right now because of something called stimulus. We love that. And then we'll get into the charts, okay? So, and one thing to pay attention to is CPI very closely. As you can see right here, obviously, headlines been falling off a cliff. You can see core is way more stubborn. That's obviously X food and energy, because energy is just falling off a cliff. And you look at the list of what's really down, it's energy, gas, and things of that nature. But the one that concerns me the most, that affects every American, and I'm curious to know if it's like this in your area, because it sure is in mine, and it's food at home. And overall food is about 5%. Food at home, the rate is like 5.8%, so that's inflation. But look at these categories. This is stuff we buy all the time, right? Cereals, breakfast cereals, rice, bakery, bread, cakes, cookies, other bakery products, fresh sheet rolls, all this stuff. And they're sitting there like double digits or greater, most of them. And I know in my area, prices they aren't going up as much, but they're definitely still going up way more than 5%. I can tell you that because I have an app that tracks it. That's why I know that. So curious to know if it's like that in your area. And the reason why it's a big thing, because I don't know about you, I don't plan on buying a car. I don't plan on buying a house. I'm not planning on going to rent a house, all that good stuff. And so this is the one that matters to me. I think to most Americans is the grocery bill, especially if you got 2 or more kids. Good luck to you, but I'm wondering if it's just area neutral or what, like it's just in certain areas, or is it all over? Because the input costs we saw have come way down, right? But for some reason, grocery stores are continuing to raise above that 5%, what headlines actually telling us. And so, of course, after this came out, tomorrow, 95% chance they're not going to raise rates, which to cement that, our boy Nikki Leaks, allegedly, who gets information from them, allegedly, from the Fed presidents, already said, probably not going to be a rate hike tomorrow, but officials could use their quarterly projections to signal another rate hike rise in the following months, which, of course, now in July, what do you see? A 60% chance of a rate hike. You even see 5% for 50. That is a joke, by the way. That is an absolute joke. But, hey, never put anything past them, so we'll see, because what's happened. Australia's done it. Canada's done it. I believe, England or the EU or whoever bank is going to have to do it, because they got a big time inflation problem over there. So they've all paused, and it seems like they're going to start back to raising rates. And I think this is where our Fed's trying to get the playbook from, is them. So we'll see what they do. Now one thing that's going to help, that is not going to help consumers, but it'll help inflation, is how many small businesses, which again are 50% or more businesses in this country with 500 or fewer employees, are planning on boosting wages less, right? Or not planning on boosting wages at all, you can see. But the white line is net percentage of small businesses raising wages, and then the other line is net percent planning to raise wages in the next 3 months. And you can see both of them are going down, right? So again, when it comes to inflation, if you're getting a 2% raise and obviously inflation is stuck at 4%, then that's a problem, right? And they're talking about headline and everything. But when I like to break it down and look at what actually affects families. So if food prices are still going up 5% every month, that affects everybody. I don't care who you are, right? We all go shopping at least once, twice a month, maybe 4 times a month. You go every week like we do. But, that's another thing. But again, energy fell off a cliff. I mean, that thing is down unbelievably. If for some reason, cars, housing is always a lag. But, those are a whole different story. Now, one thing you see, because I know I get the question all the time, I get emails, see in the comments, like, man, this market just don't want to stop. Well, what's happening is people are capitulating, okay? And I mean big money, not us, are capitulating, right? Because, it wouldn't matter if all of us went in and bought stuff. It's not going to affect the stock that much. And prime example is, I'll show you 2 right off here. What Kathy Wood just do? She bought Meta for the first time since 2021. She bought like 175,000 shares of Meta for her 2 indexes. Now, mind you, When it was down, what is it, 70% from all-time highs in January? Nope, wouldn't do it, right? But now that it's up, way up, oh yeah, now we'll buy it, right? And then this guy right here who literally got made fun of on national TV for buying Tesla now. Watch this right here.
The other reason is that, Bill Baruch, you bought it.
I did. Yeah, it's been on my radar for a bit. And when I look at a stock, I look at a name, I'm looking really top down, and meaning I'm looking at the fundamentals from a macro picture. And
you are looking top down if you bought it up 100%.
Well, where
is the air kind of thin up there where you're looking?
Well, where's the cash coming from? We trimmed Microsoft and Alphabet, which were very overweight. NVIDIA was our largest position for a lot of the year. So we're really just rotating here.
And guys, before we continue, if you're getting anything out of this, please hit that thumbs up down there. I really appreciate it. And if you like the material here and the videos, think about subscribing. And at the end of that, literally the guy that's left was just totally making fun of him. I mean, seriously, it was like, okay, but what did he do? This is what I was talking about when you got Apple and Microsoft and NVIDIA, by the way, who hit the $1 trillion club today. They're sitting at these just record levels, right? All-time new highs. These funds, they'll take profits, not get out of the position, but just take profits, right? Because they're up big, rotate in, right? Like Art, she sold Tesla, right? She sold Tesla. I'm assuming that's where that money came from, to rotate into Meta. Not sure why she wouldn't buy it a long time ago if she's got a 5-year projection, but that's what you see happen. Another guy who's a permabull, like this guy, I mean, for months when he was talking about NVIDIA, $100, nope, too expensive, $200, too expensive, $300, too expensive. Got to $400, he goes, I'm in. It was like, people are like, what? But yeah, as soon as it reached the all-time new high, he was like, I'm in. And he pretty much admitted right there on ITB, I got to capitulate. If I don't do it, I'm missing it. Bubbles can go for a long time. Now, he could be buying at the top, whatever, who knows, right? But that's what you're seeing happen is big. And I've told you, the fund man, they'll get fired if they don't do it. Roll in. If you're wrong, you're wrong. It ain't your money anyway, right? But we got to get in there. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. And here it comes. That's what you're seeing, right? So that's the money that moves the markets, not our money, right? And so keep that in mind. Now, I always love to show you. I love visuals. You know me. I love visuals. And somebody come up with this, and it's fantastic. I know the numbers are pretty much right on the spot because I've talked about them. But this right here will show you the effect of what 7 stocks have had on the S&P 500. This is a great visual. And it takes a whopping 17 seconds. And you can see right here, at the top, you got 7 stocks. And you see right below is the other 493, right? The 7 are Tesla, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Apple. And by the way, Google ain't even moved that much compared to the rest of these. And what do you see? The 7 stocks sitting at 51% gain since January this year. S&P's up 9.6, and the rest of them are minus 1.3. And that takes us through June 2nd. I don't even know where it's at right now. And so when it comes to the S&P, understand, you'll see. And I want to say this: if you're not in the game, and I call it the game, the YouTube game, or the financial industry game, whatever you want to call it. People have Twitter accounts and groups and everything. But understand there's camps, right? You got the bear camp, the bull camp. Both still exist. Each one is very lucrative. That's why it exists. Okay, each one is very lucrative. You're in the middle, which basically if you're watching the channel, you're probably somewhere in the middle, or you go off data driven, right? You may think, it's a bull market, but I'm just going to keep rotating in and out of stocks, whatever. That's not where the lucrative stuff is. Like, that's why I don't make a ton of money off of YouTube, any of that stuff, right? But I'm a data driven person, and so I'm not big in chasing, because I believe there's a stock getting ready to bust out every day. So I'm not going to chase this way up here when the risk reward is off the charts versus, wow, this stock right here, the risk reward is much lower according to the technical and everything else, right? And so, but when you look at the bear camps, I saw somebody post this the other day on Twitter. He's like, how's this dude 3x'd his following to over 6 figures now and been wrong for like 10 straight months? Because what do we want to belong to? In America, I don't know if you're from another country, let us know if you guys are the same way, but in America, we like to be in camps or teams. Like, we love to belong to something, right? And we cling on to it. And no matter what's taking place, right, we're not going to change. That group, if you're in that team, you got to back your team, right? And so, but these people make a ton of money, right? Gathering this team, selling them products, all that good stuff, painting a narrative, and keep skewing the information to where it paints their narrative. And eventually, people get upset and they'll leave that camp, whichever one it is. Then you got the bull camp, same way, right? And what happened when October low hit and it started going up? What was the narrative painted? Because tech wasn't doing well at all. But what did you see these teams over here doing? No. There's always new leadership when you come out of a bear market. It's going to be the Dow this time. Yeah, the Dow stocks are going to lead, right? And then what happened? Dow stocks started plummeting. tech took off, and then the narrative changed. Oh, no, see, it's tech again. Tech's the leader again, right? Because and if something else changes, tech starts going down, they'll paint another narrative. That's the way it is. And they make a lot of freaking money doing it, okay? And because people want to belong, they know they want to belong, and so that's how it works. There's a reason why cults exist, okay? There's a reason why they exist, all right? And so that's what you're seeing happening now, still on both sides, right? I enjoy watching them battle it out. It's kind of funny. But, let us know if you're in one of those or not. But, I just believe in being data-driven and sitting there and looking at the charts and looking at what's going on and saying, okay, yeah, I'll go here, I'll invest here, I'll buy this, whatever, and not being like, because once you get in there, like, you have to cling to it. It's confirmation bias, I think is what they call it. Like and if you ever notice that, have you ever seen something like that? Like, you try to like show them something, and if it's against what their beliefs are, it's like they almost go insane. You ever have that conversation with somebody? They're like, no, the sky's red. It's red. No, it's blue. Or no. You ever have those? I mean, it's kind of hilarious, but it's kind of sad at the same time. But anyway, just want to put that out there to you. So, because you'll see those people, they'll start talking about the breadth of the S&P. Like, no, it's more than 7, and it is more than 7. But I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words. On the S&P, it's not, okay? It's maybe 10 to 15, 20, whatever. But remember, it's 500 stocks on that stupid thing. But that's why I wanted to say that stuff. But anyway, if you wonder what happened during lunchtime to every index, they all hit a double top. It's rare to see all three of them hit it at the same time, but there they were. And actually, the IWM actually followed this out to a T. Got right down to the target and then started moving back up. But that's what happened during lunchtime. And the IWM, of course, another green day. Remember we talked about that bull flag yesterday? Right there, that trend line. So that's what made it even more powerful when it busted out. Again, moving up into some overhead supply here, right? So this is going to be key because it'll come out of this thing. It'll go up to about, what is it, like almost 200, and then it keeps selling down. But so that's the next challenge, get above that. But breaking through that trend line, that's powerful, right? That's really powerful. And we put some more trend lines in here, or horizontal lines. You'll see, 194 be a good target. Above that's 200, right? And so, we can keep doing that. And understand, if you ever want to know if this thing is going to go green, it's regional banks, right? Regional banks absolutely continue to have their red and green days, but they continue to move up, get off the mat, right? What else do you got going on? I told you, short covering, right? Look, and there's GameStop. I think GameStop busted out because one of those rich guys said he bought a bunch more shares or whatever. And then there's Play. I showed you how much this stock was shorted. That thing's up like 40% in a few days, or about a week actually, excuse me. But you see all the green, right, for all the small caps and stuff. And again, we'll find out if it's technical or whatever, because again, the environment sucks for small caps. Now, the other one to watch out for is going to be Chinese stocks. Obviously, they've been decimated compared to American stocks. And what does rich people and big money like to do? Find things that are beaten down and go, oh, okay, well, let me see if I need to get in that right there. And you can see even Goldman Sachs, like they lowered their price target, right? From like 80 down to 70 on the Chinese index. And so, but of course, you can see that $1.5 trillion route since 2023 started. That will probably be why. But what happened? Well, they do this morning again. Hey, we're going to they're going to cut their, basically, I guess it's kind of like the same as the repo rates we have here. They're going to cut that, hoping again to stimulate the economy. And supposedly they're going to come out with some more announcements. We'll see. Now, again, when they do cuts, same way if our central bank cuts, if the Fed cuts, it's not a good thing, right? They're literally telling you like, oh, our economy's in trouble. We have to do something to stimulate it. So that's why they would do this right here. It makes no sense in a strong economy why you'd be cutting rates if it was strong. But again, that's most likely what they're going to start doing. And you can see, obviously, once again, we've been here, I think, what is this, the 5th time, guys, that we've heard the stimulus stuff. And again, you get this big pop in all of them. Doesn't matter who it is, what their earning situation is. Like, nope, we're going green, baby. I think like Baidu was up like 11% at some point in time today. And so just keep that in mind. You might see money rolling into that. Baba as well. It ran into its 200-day. That was its problem because I thought it was going to bust out even more and everything. But because it's broke this trend line, it's in that supply zone, usually gets to 90 like that once it breaks 87, but then it hit the 200 and that was like a brick wall for it. So, if we bust through that tomorrow, again, you can see it move pretty quick because it is going into, as I pull up this volume profile, into a volume gap. So definitely, going to what, 93, 94, somewhere in there is definitely possible. So keep an eye on that one. Go over to Tesla, 14 days, I believe is, if I'm correct on that, right? 14 days. So again, every day is a new record for it, right? Didn't quite fill that gap. I believe it's 263.70 or something puts it exactly filling the gap. And I don't think it actually got through that today. Again, what's everybody watching? The RSI, I believe it was May 30th is when it got into oversold territory, and now it's up to 90. So remember, this can only go to 100. And so keep that in mind. MACD can't possibly be any more extended, but it keeps on doing it, right? So this is Tesla. And the reason why, because those calls keep flying in. Remember I told you guys about the 250s, right? And now you got 260s, 290s, 295s, 270s, 280s. And this is what happens. Tesla squeezes. It gets to be like a freight train. Of course, this is why also when it does drop, it drops fast, right? And people get caught and they go, oh God, wait a minute, So we'll have to see where it goes, but this is what continues to happen. Millions of dollars worth, right? Now AMD, we thought it was going to have a big day because, hey, I told the members, they got this big event, right? And somebody found out it was at 1 p.m., right? And so, of course, what are they doing? AI, yay, Meta's going to be using our cloud chips, and we're going to roll out some cool new AI chips. That was supposed to be the deal. But as usual, what happens? There's 1 o'clock, and there is 6 minutes later, and boom. This thing, it obviously sell the news event, right? Ends up tanking down, going back into that supply zone right there. The good news is, if you're in this stock, which is not a bad thing, is actually filled one gap and filled half the other gap. So that's actually good. Remember, I've been telling you, this thing's been leaving gaps behind like crazy. And so there you go, right? So that's actually not a bad thing to happen, take a little breather. And again, that 130, like one area, that's a tough one for it to get through right now. If it does get through it again, 133, 143, that's your next prices to get to, so keep that in mind. And again, Netflix, only one thing to say, it keeps marching higher towards this gap right here and this megaphone type structure as it does. So again, if it does get all the way back up to the top, which is rejected off of like 5 times, that'll put it in the zone and have filled the gap. That trend line right there you see coming across is just something I drew in there because it really has respected this going way back. I think this goes back to 08. And so if it gets to that point in time, you could see a rejection off that. But right now, big money just pushing it up. It stays overbought. It is what it is. So, now looking at what's going on tomorrow, you got core PPI is coming out, all right? And then PPI month over month, PPI year over year. Some more inflation data you can see projected to drop as well. And so the Fed actually does like to look at this right here for sure, because this is your producers' prices, and so that kind of is supposed to filter down into what we're paying and stuff eventually. But then of course the big volatile time will come in the afternoon when the FOMC and our fearless leader, old Papa Powell, steps to the podium, right, and gives his speech and stuff. So again, they're not supposed to do a rate hike, which, I mean, at this point in time, put in the comments if you think they are. I said, what did I say, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, I don't see it happening in June. I'll be surprised if we do another one, but then again, maybe in July we get another one, right? But at this point in time, again, they may follow Canada and Australia and probably what the EU is going to do and try to do it or whatever. But, we'll have to see. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are they going to do a raise or not? And then what do you think is going to happen in July? That's really the big one. And do how high do you think the market is going to go? Because those levels above it, hey, they're in view now. Right? I mean, people didn't think you'd be here. That's where we're at, so just keep that in mind. I'll have a little more to say on that tomorrow and stuff. But, anyway, hope you guys something out of it, guys. Hit the like and subscribe if you did. Really appreciate all you guys watching videos and stuff. I thank all of you for that. And thanks for sharing the videos. And you guys are the best. All right. And I'll see you tomorrow.